Good morning and welcome to our webinar, Managing Visitors for the Modern Workplace with Appspace Visitor Management. My name is Lisa Viscuso and I'm the Product Marketing Manager, and today I'll be your moderator. A few housekeeping rules before we get started. Next slide, please. You can listen into today's session in one of two ways, through your audio speakers, or you can call in with the number on your screen and enter the access code listed here. Please log your questions into the chat box on your screen, and we will be facilitating a full Q&A at the end of today's session. Everyone will receive the recording following the webinar, so look out for that. And then the last thing here is we love feedback and we want to hear from you. So look out for a few polls and questions that we'll be asking during our time today. We'd love it if you would interact and respond with us. So our agenda for today, next slide, please. First, we will talk about the new normal and what that means. Then I'm going to kick it over to Thomas to dive deeper into visitor management, the problems it solves, and then he's going to show you how it works with a live demo, and then we will end the session with a full Q&A. So at this time, I'm pleased to introduce you our main presenter for today, Thomas Philippart Defoy. He's the Executive Vice President of Innovation, and he's been with Appspace for about 10 years. A little bit about Thomas. Prior to joining Appspace in 2012 as part of a strategic partnership with Cisco, Thomas held a variety of senior sales and product marketing roles at Cisco for about over 16 years. He's an expert in workplace communication. Thomas has spent most of his career explaining the art of the possible with technology. He is an exponential thinker and engaging speaker, which you'll find out shortly, working with most of Appspace's largest customers and partners as they build their digital strategies for the modern workplace. And when he's not explaining technology, Thomas enjoys life in Costa Rica with his family. So Thomas not only lives in Costa Rica, but he works remotely from his home there too. And as a result, a fun fact about Thomas, he is suntanned all year long, which I must say I'm extremely jealous of. The winters are long and dreary here in Connecticut where I live. I wish I could be living in sunny Costa Rica too. However, they are experiencing some strong winds today, so fingers crossed we make it through this demo today. And a quick fun fact about me, not quite as fun as Thomas is, but I'm currently binge watching You on Netflix. So let's get started here. Next slide, please. As businesses transform their office spaces into a more flexible work environment, new tools are needed to ensure the transition is a smooth one. So for those of you new on the call today and new to Appspace, Appspace's workplace platform helps you manage your office spaces with room and desk reservations, maps and wayfinding, guest and employee check-in, which is why we're here today, as well as provides communication tools to keep your employees informed and engaged. You can manage any space in your office and send messages to digital signage and employee devices all from one single platform. And we truly, truly are an all-in-one platform that connects your people, your places, and your spaces. And no matter if you're an employee or an administrator, we help solve common workplace problems with ease. So that's a little bit about who Appspace is. So now let's talk about the new normal. Next slide, please. I think we've been hearing that term for quite some time. And the reason is because the new normal keeps changing, right? So what is the new normal right now? Here we are in February 2022. What does this new normal look like? Some of you may still have a dispersed workforce that includes a hybrid model where some of your employees are in the office while others are working remote. Or on the flip side, some of your offices or facilities may be looking a little more full as more folks are in the office as opposed to being dispersed. And as more and more folks are returning, it raises these questions that you see on the screen. How can I track who's entering? How will I know if the office is safe? Where are my workers located, and so on. And now more than ever, businesses and companies have a responsibility to ensure the health and safety of their employees by having all visitors, whether that be personal, contractors, deliveries, comply with new workplace rules and guidelines. So this includes health questions and visitor self sign-in workflows, to really limit interaction with employees while adhering to workplace requirements. And of course, our visitor management system can allow you to do all that and then some. So at this time, I think this is the perfect segue. I'm going to turn it over to Thomas, where he's going to dive deeper into visitor management solution and show you a live tour of this feature. Thomas?
Thank you, Lisa, and hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this visitor management webinar. We're excited to introduce this new feature of the Appspace platform, which we hope will help you plan your return to the office and ensure safety and security of everyone. I would like to start with a little poll and get all of you to answer a few questions. If you don't mind, scan the QR code with your phone or go on slido.com and enter the hex number here below. And this will allow you to answer the question. We're going to see live results, but here are the questions we'd like you to look at. Are you expecting to host, or are you already hosting visitors in your office? Do you have an existing visitor management solution? Do you need, and sorry for that, that was a little bit quick. Do you need visitors to comply to workplace health and safety processes? Are you looking to improve your security process around visitors? And here we go, we're starting to see some response coming in, which is awesome. Do you need to be compliant with data laws? And there's a final one. I think no, we've got it, we've done them all. So there's only a few people who haven't answered fully the questions, but let's give you a few seconds here. What's interesting is everyone is expecting visitors to come back into the office, so that's very much in line with the reason of this webinar today. A lot of focus on workplace health and safety. I think that makes a lot of sense. Improving security as well. Thanks everyone for answering the questions. This is awesome. We will share the poll results with everyone so you can see how you compare to other organizations in your environment. Just give a few more seconds as the numbers continue to come in. What's interesting is we currently have 50% of the attendees who've answered who currently have a visitor management solution. So this is really a post-pandemic requirement that we're seeing increasing demand around, which is again very much in line and the reason why we built this feature for you. All right, I think we're starting to get a good trend. I will keep going. Don't hesitate to continue to answer the questions. The survey will keep running as I go through the slides. All right, so with Appspace Visitor Management, we're really trying to introduce, very much in our product culture, a frictionless experience for employees and guests when they're entering the building. Similar to the space reservation experience for employees, visitor management is a mobile-first and workplace device experience. It will allow employees to pre-register and invite visitors on site, for visitors to pre-register from their personal devices, and then finally check in at the reception desk, either through a touch or touchless experience. The challenges that we're looking to address, we want to provide complete visibility on who is entering your offices, why, and how long they're going to be there when they left. All that data will allow you to track at any time who's expected and who's in the office. If there is any security requirement or important communication requirement, you'll be able to engage with all users. We want to maintain that health and safety through checkpoints. Checkpoints inside Appspace are the concept where when an employee or visitor reserves access into the building, they need to comply to certain formalities. It could be during the pandemic, uploading a vaccine certificate, answering a COVID questionnaire, but more realistically, post-pandemic, watching a safety video of the workplace, understanding workplace etiquettes, and so on. And then, of course, visitors are there are many different types of visitors, from a customer, a business partner, a contractor, a delivery, and we want to make sure we can accommodate the different needs based on those various visitor types. Why Appspace? That's always the best question to answer. We are a platform, not a point product. A lot of visitor management solutions out there are point products. The benefit of a platform is you benefit from a lot of other features and not just one. And typically, one that I like to give as a good example is if you've got a visitor management kiosk and you've got a room scheduling panel outside a meeting room and you've got a digital sign somewhere in your workplace and a wayfinding kiosk, all those devices can be targeted with critical messages such as safety and security notifications when required. When you're in a platform, you can issue a single broadcast, push that alert, all devices will receive it. When you're in a point product, you would need to generate that broadcast multiple times across each point product. The other benefit of Appspace is we've always had this culture of being hardware and software agnostic. We don't want you to have to deploy an iPad for visitor management. If you have a commercial grade device that you prefer to use at the reception desk as a kiosk, you can do that and run the appropriate Appspace app on it. So we want to bring that consistent experience as you have with signage and room booking and kiosk, where you get to pick the hardware and the software that's right for you. So a lot of benefits in leveraging Appspace, other than simplifying operations, because it's a single platform versus point products, and reducing costs altogether from a licensing perspective. Many great customers outside were proud to have received this code from Paramount, who validates that Appspace is a powerful workplace communication tool and workplace management tool. And I think this is an echo to the platform story, where you can be more than one thing and do a good job at delivering an overall experience. Thanks again for Paramount for sharing this feedback with you today on the call, so you can actually feel more confident you're in good company. So I think the best way to show the product is actually to demo the product, and that's what I prefer doing far more than doing slides. I'm actually going to go ahead and log into the Appspace app. So let me make sure I turn off camera for a second. And here we go. And you should still see my screen. I'm going to log into the employee app. So the first part is, let's look at the user journey from the employee perspective. So I'm here in the Appspace app. Many of you have seen the app. The app allows you to receive company communication, team communication. It also allows you to reserve your workspaces, meeting rooms, and other workplace requirements you may have. We are introducing on the right side of the app the ability to view upcoming events. And as you can see here, I've got an upcoming visitor coming in today at 11 a.m. It's right now 10:13. And I can overlook on there and just see quickly who that visitor is. And I can also just click and see all the information related to the visitor that's actually coming over on site. So really easy from the homepage of the app to see what's happening in the workplace. You can also see that I have a meeting room booked at that same time for that same meeting. We introduced the visitor management feature in the More section. As you can see here, I now have a visitor section of the app. Before I go there, as you know, our app, the employee app, is available as a web app, which is the one you're seeing. It's also available as an iOS and Android app with full parity across the three apps. So we really leave it up to the end user to decide the best way for them to log into the Appspace app. And here, the More section and the ability to access the visitor section of the app. So let's go back to the desktop mode. I'm now in the visitors section. I can see I have an upcoming visitor for today. I can filter other upcoming visitors for tomorrow, the week, the upcoming months, and so forth. If I want to invite a new visitor on site, I simply click visitor, and it will give me the ability to complete a form for the visitor invitation. I can either select someone who came in previously, and in this case, it will auto-populate a number of the fields. I can add more than one visitor if this meeting is meant to host more than one visitor at a time. I can specify the location I want to invite that visitor in, the time for the meeting, the purpose of the meeting, is it a business meeting? And I can also add any notes. Once I send the invite, it will create a record in the Appspace app. As you can see, Courtney Henry is now pending checkpoint. She's been invited to come in at 10:30 a.m. today. At that point, it generated an email to Courtney to invite her to pre-register. So I'm going to go here to a demo email account, and I can see here that Courtney Henry has received an email invite from Thomas to join the New York office at 10:30 a.m. today with a call to action to manage the invitation. Oh, we got a little glitch here. The beauty of demos. Let's see if we can get over this. Here we go. So Courtney is able to see that she's got a registration status which is complete. Because Courtney was previously registered, the system auto-populated the fields. She can also complete checkpoints. Checkpoints could be checkpoints related to the building she's visiting. In this example, she's required to actually complete a self-screening questionnaire, answer a few questions. If she answers properly all questions, the reservation will proceed and the checkpoint will go away. If any details in the form is incorrect, you can just click on edit detail, modify first name, last name, company name. You can also retake a picture. So I could just take an instant picture or just upload a new picture or ID that she would like to have added to her profile. Some fields are required, some fields may be optional, and the list is not exhaustive. You will see from an admin console, the facilities team can easily customize the field based on the requirements and local legislation that may be in place for an office in New York or an office in Europe. Once you click save, the information will be updated. What's interesting as well is from a host perspective, the host will be notified when Courtney successfully registered. And the host can be notified in multiple areas, in email, obviously, but also through Slack, WebEx, and Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to go ahead and share my Teams client. There we go. And as you can see, as I scroll down, I have a confirmation that my visitor has completed their pre-registration, and I can click on the link, and this will open the Appspace app for the employee, again, either on their mobile or desktop. They'll have to authenticate to confirm their identity, and they will be able to see and make sure that their visitor has completed all the required information. All right, so we've got Courtney coming in 13 minutes. She's completed all the requirements for the pre-registration workflow. The host has been notified that Courtney confirmed her attendance and completed the pre-registration. So now let's look at what happens when Courtney actually arrives in the building. For that, I'm going to switch to the admin console, and I'm going to bring up the device view of the kiosk. So I have here a visitor kiosk setup. That's the preview. So this is what you would see typically on a commercial grade device or on an iPad sitting at the reception. As you can see, the camera is turned on. The camera is there to present a QR code that you were provided when you completed your pre-registration. This is in the pre-registration form. You can see the QR code. We're also providing an access code in case the QR code doesn't work for you, and you can use that to check in. So let's take it, UH3HML. Press check-in, UH3HML. The system will validate that the QR code is correct. And I'm checking in too early, so I'm getting a message that I can't actually check in at this stage. I'm also able to check in using an email address, but the preference is obviously to use the code. So again, the demo devil here is playing me tricks. Did I use UH3HML? Let's see, UH3HML. Well, it is not working, so I probably did something wrong along the way. Now, once a visitor has successfully checked in on the kiosk, the host will receive a notification in email, WebEx, Slack, or Microsoft Teams, informing that their visitor has successfully checked in at the reception. And to give you an example, when a visitor checks in, it will add a picture to the Slack notification or the Teams notification so that you can recognize your visitor at the reception area. On the way out, the visitor will be able to check out by pressing either the checkout and entering that same access code or using their email address, or by presenting the QR code in front of the camera of the device. When the user has checked out, the host will be notified that their visitor has successfully checked out and exited the building. So from a safety perspective, that's really important. Let's have a look at the admin side of the product. As you can see here in the visitor section, we have the ability to track visitor directory. So every visitor that has registered and pre-registered and checked in is captured in the system. You can define how long you want to keep that data for, 15 days, 30 days, 90 days, depending on local regulation. You can keep that data. The benefit of keeping the data of the user is when a user returns back to the office, all the fields are pre-populated, as you saw when I checked in, invited Courtney into the office. You can also filter visitors based on locations and based on status. All invites, expected invitees or visitors, checked in, checked out, and not confirmed. You have the ability to view analytics of what's happening, again, by location and by date range. Today, the last 30 days, a specific location, and the system will pull all the data, will tell you the number of visitors per location, the checked in by periods, the drop-ins, people that just came in on site, were not pre-registered, the most frequent visitors you have by type of visitors, and visitor by purpose. So a lot of great data here to track how your workplace is used and how your visitors, who are your visitors, and how they're behaving as they enter the workplace. As an administrator, you can set the information that you wish to capture. So for example, here, mandatory fields include first name, last name, email, visitor type, and photo. I've requested company name as the option to select a preferred beverage, plate number, and birthday. You want to add additional information, you can do that. Give it a name. Who does it apply to the visitor, the host, or the admin? Which location? This may be specific to the New York office. To all visitors, or specifically to contractors, family members. So depending of your visitor type, you will be seeing and requested to complete specific information. Does it apply on-site or when you're actually pre-registering? So you can specify here when you want that. You can upload an icon to make it look nice, and then you can select what type of response you're looking for, a short answer, a paragraph, checkbox, drop-down, multiple choice, and again, whether or not this is required or optional. When you're done preparing your form, you can have a preview of how it will look for the visitor. So really easy to administer the tool and personalize it based on site and location. You can also configure the notifications. Do you want to enable email notification? How the information should be displayed? You can personalize the notifications, so an email notification can put your company logos on and so forth. Now, one last piece that I want to mention is around checkpoints, because we talked about those. Those are really critical. Checkpoints in Appspace are set at the workplace reservation module. When you're inside a building or location, like for example, the New York building here, there are rules that apply to this building. And a couple of rules here is all users need to complete a self-screening questionnaire. When you configure the New York building, you're going to say, okay, I want you to complete a web questionnaire, and this could be a Qualtrics questionnaire, for example, or Glenn questionnaire. So you can point to a URL, or you can just create your own questionnaire in Appspace. Who does this apply to? Does this apply to attendees or organizers? And which type of attendee type? Does it apply only to company employees or also to visitors? When you select all, that means that all visitors and employees coming into the building, we need to complete the questionnaire. So this is really useful here because you will set your rules and permission at a building level, and then you will use the granularity there to specify who does this apply to. And this is a feature many customers already use for workplace management. You're now able to use this for your visitors as well. That wraps up the demo. Sorry, we had that little glitch with the check-in workflow. Can always try it again, but I think you get the general picture. Again, this visitor kiosk here can be on any workplace device of your choice. So you're not forced to use an iPad, but you can go ahead and use other commercial grade devices to manage the online check-in, on-site check-in and checkout process. And you can go full touchless by just presenting the QR code in the window here. I'm going to switch back to the presentation to just wrap up with a couple of slides. So let me just go back into presentation mode here. We want to bring a lot more to the visitor management experience, and here are 3 examples of customers who, during the limited release program, have already integrated additional features. The one is contextual checkpoints, such as the ability during pre-registration or upon check-in to comply to local legal or corporate requirements, and we saw that that's the ability to complete a COVID questionnaire, watch a safety video, or so forth. The second one is a third-party integration and the ability, for example, to check the user temperature before you proceed with their check-in. So as you can see in the little GIF animation, as I press check-in, enter my access code, it will check my temperature. We can integrate with third-party thermal scanners that would be above, for example, the kiosk will check the temperature. If you're within an acceptable temperature level, we will proceed with your check-in. If not, you will receive a decline message and be asked to evacuate the building. And then finally, one which I think is extremely important is many companies plan to go with receptionist-free experience, where receptionists are no longer sitting at the desk, but they're in a back office, able to do more tasks, and therefore it's really a self-service experience as a visitor. You come in and you go through the check-in. Now, if you have an issue like we saw in the demo, you have at all time the ability to press a help button that you will see on the bottom right of this, and this will dial a video call to a virtual receptionist who may be able to assist you with the issue you're facing. So to a certain degree, this glitch we had in the visitor check-in experience helps you understand the value of this feature. And this, again, can only be done if you're in a platform story, a platform that does integrate with video technology and is able to bring that experience and combine visitor management and video in a single workplace experience. That's it from a demo and presentation. I do have one more slide I would like you to answer before I pass it over to Lisa to wrap up. We'd like to know if you feel that the Appspace Visitor Management would benefit your workplace experience. Yes, maybe or not now, depending on how really you are. And please, if you're not convinced, do not hesitate to contact us for additional information and provide your feedback. We hope that this product will really help you move forward in the return to the office. So solid trend to the yes right now. Some that are not 100% convinced yet, so looking forward to hearing back from you on feedback and questions you may have, maybe during the Q&A answer. I'm going to let people continue to answer, but Lisa, I'm going to pass it over to you to wrap up this presentation.
All right, great. Thank you, Thomas. That was great. So that does conclude the presentation portion of the webinar today. Like Thomas said, please log those questions in. If you're unsure, we're happy to answer them for you. You can continue to do so, but we'll get started with the ones that we've gotten logged in first. So the first one, Thomas, how will licensing work for the new visitor management solution?
So any Appspace customer will see the feature turned on GA end of this week into their Appspace account. So as you know, in Appspace, we don't charge on product features. All customers, no matter the size and type, get access to all the product platform features. So you will see visitor management appear. The way we monetize is based on users that are able to log into the employee app and invite visitors on site, or workplace devices that are registered back to Appspace, such as a visitor management kiosk. So it's really a pay-as-you-grow model. But the good news is the feature will be turned on and available for everyone, and you have enough licenses. If you don't have user licenses, you have default user license provision in every account to get started. So super simple pricing model.
This next one, very specific. Our campus has Ladia panels that are tied into a crew and EMS room reservation system. How can we integrate these two applications to assist our end users?
It's a great question and one that is quite common. So all the visitor management and workplace management features in Appspace have full open APIs. Our enhanced services team has the knowledge to do third-party integration with external room booking systems or client or visitor management solutions. So we would need to get on a call, understand your requirements, how you would expect the workflow, and then we can do a document that will scope how we will integrate the two systems together.
Perfect. This next one, I think you just touched on this at the end, but maybe you can talk about it again. Can I integrate with other systems such as thermal scanners, badge access systems, etc.?
Yes, it's a very common request. Thermal scanner is one example. The badging system, I think, is going to be a more common one. So if you have today a visitor badging system, the way it works, for security reasons, we are not actually querying or pulling any data from your badging system. To the contrary, your badging system, when a user will be issued a badge or will use a badge, will query whether or not that user has access to the building, has complied to all the checkpoints. In the case of a visitor, the way it would work is you pre-register, you arrive on site, you check in, we generate an event confirming that you have successfully checked in. Then the receptionist takes the badge, and by activating the badge in the system, the badging system will query whether or not the visitor has complied to all their formalities. So to this question, yes, absolutely, common request. And again, our enhanced services team is there to assist and go through the exact requirements to make sure that we do the integration the right way.
Can hosts be notified via text message or phone call?
So today, the notification is through email, Slack, Teams, and WebEx. In the second quarter of this year, we will be integrating, launching a new SMS service, and we will be able to notify users through SMS service. We can also do a video call through a SIP call. So if a user would want to be notified through a SIP call and has a SIP client, we would be able to do that through a video notification.
Back to the badge question, because a lot of those are coming in, Thomas. Can check-in kiosks integrate with printing a badge?
Well, that's a big miss on my side. I should have mentioned that. Absolutely. The visitor management kiosk feature ships with recommended printers that will allow you to print a badge on successful check-in. The badge can be either automatically printed when a user successfully checks in, or when a concierge or receptionist issues the printing command to print the badge. So yes, absolutely. And again, we do recommend certain printer types that are very commonly used in the reception area, so nothing strange. If you have an existing visitor management solution and have acquired specific hardware, please share the hardware specs with us and we will confirm if those are compatible with our app.
Is the visitor management solution a standalone offering?
It is a standalone offering in the sense that you could buy Appspace only for visitor management. Like some customers use Appspace only for signage or room booking or space reservation. You can use Appspace only for visitor management. In fact, one of our very first customer is an automotive company and they bought Appspace only for visitor management. You don't pay for the feature, you pay for the licensing of the devices and users that use the feature. So if you just need a few kiosks, you will just take the smallest Appspace subscription, which starts with 25 devices and 50 users, and that will get you powered up. So absolutely, it can be purchased as a standalone feature, but you get far more benefits when you use all the features of the platform, obviously.
Absolutely. This is a two-part question, but we'll start with the first one. Can people who are unregistered sign in on an ad hoc basis?
Could you repeat it just to make sure I understand the question?
Yep, I think what they're trying to say, so the question was, can people who are unregistered sign in on an ad hoc basis? I think that means somebody just dropped, didn't
So that's what we
pre-register.
call drop-ins, which was in the, so a facilities manager can configure the system to only allow pre-registered users on site or also allow drop-ins. If you are a drop-in user, when you press the sign in button and you enter your email address, it will bring up the registration form on the screen. So you have gained both options. Right now, we're seeing most customers only in allowing pre-registered visitors on site, but you can also allow drop-ins if that's a requirement. That's an easy feature tag that you just enable on the admin console.
And then the second question this person had was, if we have a group of guests, is it possible to do a bulk invite?
Yes, from an admin standpoint, so a user or a concierge who has admin can do a bulk invite of visitors on site. A unique host who would want to organize a meeting for a bunch of persons will have to add them one by one in the same invite. So you create this one single invite, but you add multiple users to the invite, but you don't have the ability to, for example, do a drag and drop of an Excel file to do that. That would be an admin feature. So very common in the large organization space, you will have concierge who are responsible for organizing and hosting large events and meetings. They will be able to do this in the admin console. They will have admin access to actually be able to do bulk invites.
How about this one? Does virtual reception support Teams integration?
So that's a great question. In this case, it depends on the client you will be running the Appspace app on. So for example, if you have a WebEx device, we will leverage the native WebEx capabilities of the device to generate a native WebEx call. If you have a Teams device, we would leverage the native Teams capability to generate a Teams call. If you have a SIP device, we would generate the SIP capabilities to generate a SIP call. So different options, again, depending on your environment. I think it's a huge feature for companies. Again, depending on your environment and the device you select, we may have different routes on how we approach it. So I would recommend to jump on a call with our tech team and go through your environment requirements and then provide the best recommendations.
Great, a couple more here. You guys are asking great questions. Keep them coming. In Italy, we use the Green Pass, a QR code that certifies anti-COVID vaccination. The data are synchronized with the Italian Ministry of Health. Does Appspace allow the storage of the certificate associated with the user to speed up the access in the building?
So it's a sensitive topic in the sense that no, we do not store the Green Pass data because that's confidential, and for GDPR reason we wouldn't. What we do store though is whether or not the Green Pass is active or inactive, so it's valid or not valid. So very similar to a COVID questionnaire. When you're completing the COVID questionnaire, we're not storing all the personal information you're entering. What we're storing is whether you answered all the questions correctly or not. If yes, we proceed. Well, it's the same thing with the Green Pass. We would integrate with the Green Pass, validate that your pass is still valid. We will store that the pass is valid. We will not store personal information related to the pass. So for example, we wouldn't store the vaccine type that you've taken. We would only confirm that it's still valid.
Great, thank you. Couple more here. Are we able to get access to the information via API?
Yeah, all APIs are available online and documented. And we have a team of experts on the enhanced services team to help you and assist you. A lot of customers or partners have the ability to do the API integration, but again, our enhanced services team is there to assist you if you need it.
Great. Are there any specific hardware or software requirements for this?
No, we're gonna, as we continue moving forward with the product, we will open up to more hardware and software options Today, running it on an iPad or an Android device using the iOS and Android app is available and very easy. You can also run the Appspace Progressive Web App on a WebEx desk device, and that will work great as well. Or you could just simply run our UWP app or Unified Windows Platform app on a Windows type kiosk. There are a lot of hardware options out there, and very much like we do with signage, we try to be agnostic as possible. So if you have a specific device in mind, just reach out to us and we'll confirm whether or not it's supported. We will also update the Knowledge Center with all the devices that have been tested and certified, and we will keep adding those as customers deploy new types of devices with our solution.
Are you able to scan, gather information via a driver's license?
That's a good question. So the ability to upload a picture of your driving license is certainly something you can do today. The ability to scan that information and provide it into the database is not something that we have done to date. Again, we need to be conscious of GDPR, and but I'd love to investigate that requirement. So please do reach out so we can actually jump on a call and understand the use case there and how you would like that to work. I think it's a very interesting request.
Great, and I think we just have one more here, which I can answer this one. Can you send a recording of this? Yes, everybody will receive a recording of this following the webinar. So I think that's it for questions. A lot of great questions. So the million-dollar question now, how do I get this? Our visitor management solution will be available early March to everyone. It currently is in limited release. So if you are a current customer already using Appspace and you want it before that date, please reach out to your customer success manager and they can help get it turned on for you. If you are currently not using Appspace and you'd like to hop on board, you can simply reach out to us by filling out the form on this slide, and we'll follow up with you to help get you started. And next slide. So also, if you didn't know, we are headed all over the place in the next few months, and we can be found at all of these upcoming events. Enterprise Connect on March 21st to 24th, NFMT March 29th to the 31st, ISC May 10th to the 14th, and Infocom June 4th to June 10th. So come check us out, meet our people, see our solution firsthand at any of these events. We are also hosting some upcoming webinars. On March 9th, we have a best practices using Appspace to improve internal communications. And March 16th, actually with Thomas, he'll be hosting a Appspace product roadmap session. So to stay connected with all of our upcoming events and webinars, you can simply scan that QR code on your screen, or you can visit us directly on appspace.com/events to learn more at any time. So that does conclude our webinar for today. A special thanks to Thomas for presenting and showing the demo and answering all your great questions. And thank you all for attending. We hope you liked what you saw, and we look forward to having you again. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Thank you. Bye.